Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. in the newsroom. You can't afford to miss it.
Good afternoon, welcome to In the Newsroom. Today, Monday the 29th of July 2024. August 1 is fast approaching. Everybody now talks about August 1. Some people have described it as a day of protest, day of demonstration, and what do you call it? Some people, some organizations, some societies in Nigeria have come together to occupy Nigeria for 10 days in order to make Nigerians' voices heard. That is one of the topics we're going to look at on In the Newsroom this afternoon. Kayo Adebayo is here. How are you?
Thank you, Tony. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. And Adebayo Jimakinde, how is it been?
It's good to have you on the program.
Yeah, thank you. We discussed this issue of protest about 3 times last week. Today, we cannot just shy away from it. It's the in thing now in Nigeria, and it is gradually gaining global attention. Coyote, very many Nigerians are coming out to back out of the protest. Some are saying no, the protest must hold.
Yeah, you see, the issue of protest, right from the day one that it has been announced that the protest will start by August 1 and it will last
till August 10.
Till August 10. You see, several measures have been taken by stakeholders, including government, individuals within the society, and and even the security agencies are taking proactive measures. Individual prominent personalities in Nigeria are calling on the organizers and making them to see reason why they should not go on protest by now. And if you look at some parts of the country, especially the north, the Northern Elders Forum, they are now calling on their people. Even this morning, as of this morning, it was in the news that the stakeholders in Benue Axis and Plateau, they are calling on their people not to join the protest. So maybe through this, maybe the organize, and there are stringent appeals to the organizers to shape the plan. Maybe through this, maybe the organizers will see the reason why. And you see, the protest itself is a matter of constitution. It is guaranteed under our present constitution. But at the same time, what we should be concerned about now is not the protest itself, but how it will not be hijacked by the hoodlums in order to perpetrate or to wreak havoc on the people. That is the concern now.
Does Ejimakinde see that in the same perspective with Coyote?
Actually, some people are backing out from the planned protest. Why? They can take it as a result of the threats from some quarters. The security forces are saying that people should desist from participating in the protest. Some government officials also are they are appealing that they should not engage in protest. Look at this. Some people might be saying, okay, life is much better than just engaging in the protest and lose one's life. So perhaps because of the threat to life, for security reasons, some are backing out. And
as any security agency come out to issue a threat to life to anybody?
No, it's not. It is not directly about that they are issuing a threat to life. It is not a threat, but there are some information that say that they are ready to provide security.
Exactly.
And
let me quote what
saying,
the Lagos Commissioner of Police says yesterday.
Go ahead.
Or today. Yeah. Don't attack protesters. Lagos CP warns residents.
Okay.
That is, if anybody comes out to hold a peaceful protest,
it is a good development.
They should not be attacked.
That's a good development.
Police talk boss talking.
It is a good development if you are having such things. But the drill may be different from other states. Things may be different from other states. They say that they should not gather. They should not come out. And even the FCT minister is saying that nobody has indicated interest from coming out or register to say that they are going to use a certain center for this thing. So
yes.
there are some people tell me that they have the rights to go out and protest without any condition being attached to. But it's good that security people are arising to the responsibility, willing to provide security. But some are still backing out, like I said, and some still remain adamant that this protest is a must because of their feelings, because they are aware of their rights that they must protest, perhaps peacefully. But the issue is that how peaceful will it be? That is the fear in some quarters also. How peaceful will it be? I think the most important is that the organizers of this protest, perhaps if they come out with a plan whereby they can just gather, make known their grievances publicly and disperse and go back to their different places of abode, that would be better. But if you talk about street protest, then the challenge comes that it may be hijacked by some elements. That is the issue.
You see, that is the concern of everybody. Like I said, the issue is not about protest in itself, but the issue is how do we guarantee that there will be no violence? How do we insulate our street protest from from violence?
Yes, from being hijacked.
From being hijacked by hoodlums. That is the fear. You know what happened in
October
2020.
NSAS
protest. You know, those people that actually lose their lives or properties, they are the ones that can recount their ordeal now. It's not always easy. And you see, the idea, whenever there is protest, it is certain that the organizers, they are not always, able to control the situation. There is no way they can control the situation once it is hijacked by hoodlums. And that is the fear that everybody is entertaining now. And I like the proactive measures being taken by government officials. You see, like the Minister of Minister of FCT, he has met with several stakeholders, especially the youth. And the the interaction with the youth is still ongoing. And it's like the man is proactive in ensuring that the youths in FCT area did not join the strike. The protest.
Okay, let me read it out. In Osun, our own governor has urged dialogue. He has scheduled a meeting with leaders of civil society organizations. From Oyo State, Makinde says Nigerians must shun violence to destruction of property. Ibadan Traditional Council rulers oppose protest. CNN laments hardship in Nigeria, but kicks against violent protest. Jamaatul Nasrul Islam, that's on the Islamic part, and Christian Association of Leaders can, Ohanese Sarah, kick against protest.
All right. We are saying that the issue is not about protesting, but the government and the people in Nigeria as a whole must rise to the occasion of addressing the cause of this protest. And what are the causes? There was a fake news in circulation, which some Nigerians judged that it speaks the feelings of the people.
What is the information?
One of the information is that they should return the fuel subsidy. It should be revisited. And then the president should cut the cost of governance by 50%. Even his own salary, his own emolument allowances, down to the National House of Assembly, that they should replicate this and other government functionaries. That this issue we address, we lead by example to address, and in addition that they should set some of the Nigerian airways that are not functioning and retain the good ones. That by these measures, they can only tackle the problems and also reduce cost of governance in the country. And by the time they lead by examples, then the issue will be emulated or reciprocated by others down to, at state level and local government. So these are part of the issues they were asking for.
Okay.
They also asked that the problem of economic challenges should be addressed. The hunger,
Okay.
there should be food availability.
Yeah.
So these are the areas whereby you need urgent attention. Hunger is the most important thing that can lure people into this.
Yeah.
So the issue of food availability must be ensured that people are well fed. And how can they do this? I think we have the experts. They can brainstorm at the national level, at state level on how to tackle this. Once people are well fed, or even they have food to eat, then they may not be able to engage in all these things. The issue of being protest being hijacked will not be there because so far they feel satisfied a little bit. They don't need to go there.
There's no protest. There's nothing to be hijacked.
So, and when we look at some developing countries, the protests are being carried out, but we don't hear about hunger. We don't hear about all these things because the environment, the atmosphere, the environment was conducive for them. I think that they can only afford at least 4 square meals and basic.
Then what are they protesting then? If in those countries there is no hunger, what are they protesting?
I said relatively.
Okay.
I'm saying
Because,
relatively.
There has been a protest in Kenya, in Uganda. We said it last week.
That I said relatively.
And the protest turned violent.
Yes, the protest.
We all watch everything in the news.
Yes, there is protest. Maybe protest about the debt. Debt rate, and other issues, insecurity, and also so on. But when we talk about the US, for example, and other things now, you only hear that people go on stress because of hunger. That's my focus. Are you getting that? And we are copying developed nation like US. So we should be able to address all this issue of food before now. People are well fed, at least they can eat. You don't hear about hunger. Well, let's look at what's relating to this clamor for hunger. Clamor for protest. Hunger is one of the key factors. Because that's the issue. And it must be addressed. It is it is a call that the issue of agriculture should be revisited, and food availability should be tackled. And we also know that this hunger does not just rise or becomes a challenge for the nation. We should all look at the issue of insecurity that the country has been facing all along, and this the economic reforms, which is not seems in favor of Nigerians. So it has continues to pose challenges. So the issue.
Okay, Mr. Jimakede, because when people talk about insecurity, one of the challenges and farming agriculture is facing Nigeria is insecurity. Then I come to ask the question: the northerners, where the insecurity is deeply rooted, still continue to bring food items down to the south.
Yes.
Pepper, tomato, yam, beans, rice, and everything.
You might have been seeing trucks load of pepper
from the north.
But if you compare the quantity that is coming from north nowadays to the previous ones that used to come, you will surely know that there's a problem. So farming is not thriving as it used to be in those days, and it's because of the level of insecurity, because the farmers are usually attacked in their. Look at what we are witnessing in Benue axis, and Benue happens to be the food basket of the nation. So now, with the level of insecurity being witnessed in those areas, you know how they used to massacre them in their farms now. Who is that farmer that will want to risk his life to go out to farm because he must produce for people in other parts of the country?
In addition to that, you know that recently the cost of tomato is on the high side. What causes it? Because some farmers were unable to plant aside the issue of weather or climate issue. Many didn't go have opportunity to go back to their farm. And as a result, we started importing tomatoes from Nigeria and other parts of African countries, which cause rise in the cost of tomatoes. So the quantity of food being supplied from that north has been reduced compared to situation in the past. And here in the other parts of the country, how many do we do? Here in the southwest, for example, we know some of the factors that are discouraging people from participating in agriculture, especially those ones that are very bold. I had a friend that said that because of cattle rearing issues that may destroy the farm, he doesn't want to engage in agriculture. I said, it is just a risk. You have to do it. Like I did. I engage some people sometimes, not minding that. There was time they enter my crop plants, they destroyed little part of it. And when I met them, I plead to them, and that was the end. They never come again. And I continued, and I made a success. So how many of us are bold in this area? So that's part of the challenges confronting the agriculture in this.
Yeah, before we leave this area, there is something we have to, not taking the further from the truth again. We can imagine how many universities of agriculture we have in Nigeria. How many universities that have faculties of agriculture and they hardly feed their own population. When universities with faculty of agriculture cannot produce eggs, cannot bake breads, cannot sell cassava, cannot sell yams to people outside, then there is a problem, somewhere. I want to tag along with you. Let us forget about the north and whatever else, because the question you raised is this: what are we doing right here?
Exactly.
And they thought, okay, we have the cattle rearers. You just spoke about how you solved, your own little problem in your.
You see, if you talk about the universities that we have in this country, and each having the faculty of agriculture, whereby research have been made into various kinds of agricultural practices that are suitable to this climate. You see, you cannot really blame them. What is the attitude of our governors, of our state governors around
across the federation?
In the environment
where the
universities are located.
Okay.
You see, I happened some times ago. I was in NISA, Nigerian Institute for Social and Economic Research. I was their staff there. You see, in those days, if you see those professors, the way they conduct their research, they come out with when they come out with, the outcome of their research, when they send it to all these government agencies, they hardly make use of it. So you first of all look at the attitude of our government to all these institutions. Most of these institutions are left to be on their own. They don't concern themselves with whatever they make out of their researches. And the researches are made for the authorities to put it into practice. So not that all these institutions are not doing what they are supposed to do. As far as I know, they are doing their own bit. It is now left for the authorities to now do their own bit, so as to be able to gain to make the necessary gains, to actualize or to put it into practice for the benefit of the people. So the attitude of the government to agriculture, especially in this part of Nigeria, southwest, is extremely poor. It's extremely poor.
But what about the situation where the government would tell youths who are interested in agriculture, give them acres of land, machines and all of that, and you see them backing out?
Yes.
Going 3-6 months into farming, they back out. Even those who have degrees in agriculture don't want to go into the practice.
Look, how much of motivation did you provide for these people?
Oh, land, seedlings, cassava sticks, and machines.
Then they will what's the area, the location of their farmland? What is it that they have provided for them there to make the place attractive to them? You talk of people like you and me living in urban centers. If somebody want to drive you to farm now, that person certain things must have been provided for you there. I mean, you see, why is it that we concentrate our development
on the urban
centers to the detriment of the rural areas? If you develop the rural areas, make electricity available, make pipeline water available, make other incentives available there, people will be ready to go there now.
Yes,
that is the problem we are having.
I quite support what your submissions, and as well, we are talking about farm settlement. Exactly. So that is what is very important. The young graduates, all these ones should be living in a farm settlement to make the place conducive for them and make it like an urban setting. They should have access to all these needed materials, social amenities. Yes. So when that place is needed, then another thing that government should do is the issue of funding and motivation, as well as making sure that they help them to make sure that the farm produce is marketable. Once they are making profit from that engagement, they'll be more encouraged to invest more, to engage more in agriculture. Yes. But if you don't assist them to make sure that their farm produce get to the needed market and they are able to process it to prevent it from being spoiled, all these are very, very important. Once these issues are addressed, the encouragement will be there, the motivation will be there for them to also engage in that.
We have our breaking news now.
Okay.
That President Tinubu just signed the new minimum wage into law.
Okay.
That was part of our discussion this morning at the editorial meeting.
Sorry, before we go into that, my friend just mentioned the farm settlement. At least we had it on record, even though we might not have been born by the time those farm settlements were created by the government of the old Western region under Chief Obafemi Awolowo. They were made to understand that all necessary things were provided in those farm settlements. They built houses for them there. They electrified the place. They provided everything that they enjoy. Everything that they enjoy in the urban center, they provided it there. And demand did not stop there. They also created, demand is aware of the problem that will be encountered by farmers in marketing their products. Demand created marketing boards, which is assisting the farmers so that the incidence of harvesting your crop without being able to market it and to get spoiled or rust away was not there. So this made the farmers to have rest of mind that whatever they produce on the farm, they will have somewhere that somebody somewhere is waiting to buy it from there. And that, since that, unlike what we have today, if you plant tomatoes now and it is time for you to harvest your tomato, what will first of all strike your mind is, how will I be able
to market
so that I will not incur loss.
All right, thank you.
So all these things, I think government should look into all these areas. If they are actually interested in farming.
Okay, President Tinubu has just signed the minimum wage.
New minimum wage
law. Yes, I've been expecting that. In my own case, I was thinking of ways of how to curtail the intending or what the planned protest. Yeah. One of the key points is that if minimum wage is signed to law, money gets to the is distributed, get to the hands of the workers. Workers will also be able to spend this money out.
Signing into law doesn't mean the payment will be immediate.
I just think so. It's one step to the other.
You see,
where is it?
It is not.
Let me explain. I know I am coming to that area. If it is being signed into law, I think the situation at the state level will diverse. There are still challenges, because the issue will also be discussed at the state level between the government.
Many of the state governors have said they will pay 70.
Yes. But what about the federal workers? Do they need any other?
Yes, they will.
What do you think? Table will be drawn. That 70,000 minimum wage is not for level 8.
I quite agree with that. It's just a matter. It has been signed into law. Then some people will just act. drafting the table, and the table will also be approved.
But table is not something
it's not a roster.
Actually, you are right. From previous
Yeah.
experience, it is not. I quite agree with you.
Yeah.
It's
It
not
will
about
take time.
No, it's not about
It will take
yes,
time.
previous experience, but it is what we should understand, and I think those who are watching not also need to be educated.
Okay.
Yes, 7,000 minimum wage. We quite agree.
Yeah.
That is the remuneration for a worker on the lowest cadre.
Data, yeah.
That is it. So if you say, okay, well, this 7,000 is for level 2, is it going to be the same for level 3?
Adjustment.
level 4?
Yeah.
Hey, that is,
Consequential.
stakeholders from the government side.
Consequential adjustment. There will be
That is
deliberation
number
on consequential
When
adjustment.
that is done, do you think 70,000 will goes to the as minimum wage go to level 3? Tax. If I am paying, for instance, if I'm paying 2,000, for instance,
Yes.
from my salary now, by the time the salary is jacked up, then it will affect my tax too.
Yes.
And it will take time for them to also draw the table.
Yes.
Okay, how much will a level 8 officer be paying as tax? Level 9 up to level 17, down to level 2. Then after that, deductions will come in. We all belong to NUJ. We said it here last week.
Yes.
NUJ state will calculate how much are we going to be deducted. The local chapter will do what?
Yes.
Then our contributory pension scheme. Are we going to be
So-
deducting the same 10,000 or
By,
jack it up?
by the time they deduct all this,
So by the time
how
we
much
get
will they
it-
remain?
and then all of this will take time.
I
A month,
understand.
2 months, 3 months. But one joyful thing is the man has signed it,
Into law.
into law. The next thing, okay, let other things come quickly. That is, don't let us just be talking about the paperwork. Okay, the person has signed it, so what next? Put machinery in, in motion
and make it faster.
and make it faster. Maybe somebody like me is expecting, maybe by October 1, okay, it will be paid to federal workers and maybe all workers in Nigeria.
But my expectation is that you recall that bill was given an accelerated
Passage.
approval and passage
Mm,
by
at
the
the
National
at the
Assembly.
two house.
And it has just been assented to now. So I'm thinking that move, the speed will continue. And because this issue of protest, government doesn't take it very lightly. And they are thinking that one of the ways of curtailing protest and subsequent ones is to make life comfortable for Nigerians. And part of the issue is the issue of this signing of this thing into.
Is there
into
anything?
law.
Is there anything
But I
those
don't think-
concerned can
No, I don't think there's any link between the minimum wage
and the protest? No.
because the
two
labor
different
have
things.
said earlier on
That they are not-
that
that they are not
interested,
I know,
they are
I
not
know.
participating.
I think what we are saying is that when there is money,
Money, okay,
and you make
sir, okay.
life comfortable for people,
okay.
and workers are part of these Nigerians.
You are right.
And we are talking about workers. Workers may be controlling a lot of people, even the extended family.
Yes, I buy
Are you
that
getting
from
now?
your-
And the money in economy, the money keep flowing.
But
We
that
know of a state where the workers are not getting salary, and it affected all the artisans and other things in the
Really?
past.
Really?
That's what we are taking. I'm trying to look at, so that
Yes, you are
I
correct.
understand,
Yes.
I
you are
understand
correct.
your thoughts.
And then another thing is, okay, let us just think, okay, this signing the new minimum wage into law will have so fast impact on the protests and the protesters. What will the federal government or the state government and the NLC be able to do between now and August 10?
Yes.
We are talking about something that will take what several weeks. But what we are saying on this program at this moment is that we are for peace. That is it. We are for peace. If the protest is going to be peaceful, let those people gather somewhere, let their voices be heard. Let television and radio stations cover it. Let the whole world know that something is happening in Nigeria peacefully.
Yeah.
That is it. We cannot continue to sacrifice the lives of future generations. There have been protests in some other towns, people have died, and there are some protests in the other countries that have been peaceful, and their governments have, equally, listened to them. So I am not saying I am not in support of the protest, but not in support of a violent protest. Even in the Constitution, I have just gone through some, I think chapter 40 or what have you. There is no, that chapter guarantees the right, to protest. But read it out, then it peters out to something else. You have the right to protest, but your right stops where the right of another person starts.
starts.
How will you say you want to protest and then you go into the shop of somebody selling
you begin to
electronics
vandalize
and
people's
you start
property.
then vandalizing people's property? You say you want to okay, look at our station now. Look at what the governor has just done for us. Buying equipment for us,
Yes.
running over $1 billion naira, and some are saying because they are hungry, and the next thing they will come to our station and
Then you begin to set bonfires.
Should
on
not
the
be
road.
seen as
Roads
means of
that are
looting the
constructed
state
with
treasury.
billions of naira.
that's another thing.
Eh?
Burning, setting bonfires on the road and what have you.
It's part of a vandalization.
Yes.
Vandalization.
They have
Which
negative
that is
effect on the road.
That is exactly what some of us are talking about. But to some people, they will say, "Oh, those are pro-Tinubu people." All that doesn't know either you are APC or PDP or Labour or Accord. And when that comes, it can. Stray bullet can attack anybody, can strike anybody.
At
That is
any
it.
time.
So we are not saying whoever wants to protest should not, but let it be what? Peaceful.
Peaceful.
Okay. And now our own governor is saying, okay, come, let us dialogue. You can imagine that. The governor scheduled the meeting for today.
That's great.
Okay, you, this group, send your letter, that group, send your leaders, this group, send. Let us sit down, let us talk. Okay, let us aggregate opinions. And then I, as the governor, can then go to Abuja and say, okay, these are what are my people's in Osun I want. These are our demands. And that is exactly what happened in 2020. After all the destructions, the governors now met and are now taking their opinions. But we now have governors who are proactive. Before you embark on killing people, destroying, people about to kill each other, come around, let us dialogue. Okay, either our president will listen or not, don't worry. Let us aggregate what? Opinions. Then let us take it, to it. But one thing is this, there is nothing as palatable as peace.
Yes.
We have peace, that is why we are able to hold this program.
That is it.
Either a tuber of yam sells for 1,000 or 3,000, there is peace. That is why you can go to market to know how much a tuber of yam sells for. Let us, we can just cast our minds back to what happened during the NSAS and protests. Even if you had food in your house, the man next to you who you want to take your pepper to grind to say, yes, Nigerians, we have the right to protest. At the same time, our own rights stops where the right of some other people have gone. Let us support, the state governor now, who is making efforts at dialoguing with the people involved. All of us are involved, but not all of us can pour into the street to do what to protest. August 1, either we like it or not, we have to be at our duty posts.
Yes.
We have to be here. But if everything goes violent, we will be talking about what? About something else. Well, Kayode Adebayo, thanks you so much for coming on this program.
All right.
AG Makide.
Thank you for having me.
Yusuf is smiling. This is how far we're able to go on to this edition of In the Newsroom. Tomorrow is another day. Thank you for joining us.
Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. in the